So you've got an annuity, but you need to get some cash out of it. It's a common situation, right? But it can feel like you're trying to navigate a minefield of penalties. Well, today, we're going to give you the map. This is your step-by-step guide to cashing out your annuity the smart way, without making those costly mistakes. Let's dive in.
Yeah, it's a super common problem. You have this asset, this money, but you're worried that if you touch it, you're going to get hit with a flood of fees from the insurance company and maybe even the IRS. And you know what? That caution is totally justified. But here's the thing you might not know. You actually have several ways to get your money. And some of them, well, they're completely penalty-free.
You know, a puzzle box is the perfect way to describe it, isn't it? It feels like your own money is locked up, and one wrong move could cost you thousands. See, annuities are designed for the long haul, which means getting your cash out early isn't about just yanking it open. It's about knowing exactly which keys unlock which parts of the box. All right, so let's start with the most common methods. Think of these as your first set of keys. The standard, maybe even brute force ways to get to your money. They get the job done, but yeah, they often come with a price. Okay, so these are the usual suspects. You've got a partial withdrawal where you just take a slice. A full surrender is exactly what it sounds like. You cash out the whole thing. And with some fixed annuities, you can even take out a loan. But while these are the most direct paths, you got to think of them as the costly options. These are the ones most likely to trigger those nasty surrender charges we're trying to avoid. Okay, but what if you don't want to just smash the box open? What if you want to be a bit more strategic about it? This is where the master keys come in. These are the smarter methods that can get you access to your money completely penalty-free. This right here, this is your number one master key. And guess what? It's built into pretty much every deferred annuity out there. It's a special provision that lets you pull out a chunk of your money every single year, totally free of any surrender charges from the insurance company. And what's that magic number? It's almost always 10%. Yep, you can typically withdraw up to 10% of your annuity's value each year, no questions asked. Seriously, if you need cash, this should be your first move. Every single time. It's the cleanest and cheapest option you've got. All right, now for a more advanced key. This one's called a 72T distribution. Sounds technical, I know. But all it is a specific IRS rule that lets you get around that dreaded 10% early withdrawal tax penalty, especially if you're under 59 and a half. It's really designed for folks who need a steady income stream before they officially hit retirement age.
But, and this is a big but, there's always a catch, right? Here's the fine print, and it's super important. To use this 72T rule, you can't just take a big lump sum whenever you want. Nope. You have to commit to taking a series of calculated, equal payments for at least 5 years, or until you hit that 59 and a half milestone, whichever is longer. So yeah, it definitely requires some commitment.
Now, let's talk about your special exit hatches. Think of these as your emergency levers. On one hand, you've got waivers. A lot of contracts have these, and they let you access your money penalty-free for big, serious life events. We're talking needing nursing home care or terminal illness. Then, on the other hand, you've got something called bailout provisions. These are like a safety net if your interest rates fall below a certain point. The big takeaway here, you've got to read your contract. One of these valuable escape hatches might be sitting there waiting for you. Okay, so we've talked about how to take your money out. Now we need to talk about when. Because with annuities, timing isn't just important, it is everything. A little bit of patience can literally save you thousands of dollars. I mean, it really is as simple as this. Those surrender charges are almost always tied to your contract's anniversary date. If you rush a withdrawal by just a few weeks, you could end up paying a 5% penalty instead of a 4% one. Now, on a big annuity, that's a huge chunk of change to lose just for being a little impatient. Just look at this timeline here. This is a pretty typical surrender charge schedule. See how that fee drops year after year? This is exactly why you need to know your contract anniversary date and have it circled on your calendar. If you're getting close to a date where that fee drops, waiting is almost always the smartest financial move you can make. No question. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about the insurance company's fees, their surrender charges, but I bet you're thinking, wait a minute, what about the IRS? What about that 10% early withdrawal penalty I'm always hearing about? And that is a fantastic question because telling these two apart is absolutely critical. Okay, here's the crucial difference. That 10% IRS penalty, it almost exclusively applies to what are called qualified annuities. These are the ones funded with pre-tax money, like an annuity inside an IRA. If you touch that money before you're 59 and a half, boom, the IRS is going to hit you with that penalty. But, and listen closely, if your annuity is non-qualified, meaning you funded it with your own after-tax money, that 10% IRS penalty generally doesn't apply. Big difference.
All right, so you know the different ways to get your money out. But before you make a single move, we need to do one final check. You have to be crystal clear on what you're giving up, what you're leaving on the table when you cash out.
And honestly, this might be the most important point of the whole thing. Cashing out an annuity isn't like selling a stock that you can just buy back next week. The really valuable benefits, the ones that give you that peace of mind and security, they're often gone for good once you surrender the contract. It really, truly is a one-way door. So what's on the other side of that door? What are you leaving behind? Well, you could be sacrificing a guaranteed income stream that was designed to last for your entire life. You lose that incredible power of tax-deferred growth. You might be forfeiting valuable death benefits for your family or a high payout ratio from an income rider you paid for. These are seriously powerful benefits that are very, very hard to replace. So after all this, after exploring all the keys and all the doors, it really comes down to one final personal question. You have to weigh your immediate need for cash against your long-term security. Yeah, cashing out can solve a problem today, but is it worth giving up the lifetime of financial security that annuity was built to provide in the first place? Only you can answer that one.